of activity that we have on the board, right, is direct activation of an enzyme. What is this direct? Look at the top of the screen. Direct phosphorylation. So before, in the previous steps, we activated a protein kinase C or a protein kinase A, and that added phosphate groups. So we had to activate the G protein, and then we had to take the alpha subunit to activate adenylyl cyclase or phospholipase C, and then that would activate protein kinase A in the case of adenylyl cyclase, or protein kinase C in the case of diacylglycerol, and then we could add phosphase. Here, we've taken out the enzyme directly. What is the receptor acting as? Which of those molecules that we've talked about previously is the receptor functioning? Protein kinase, exactly. The receptor itself is the protein kinase. So here's the receptor. When the hormone binds to it, phosphate groups will attach to the receptor, and then molecules, cellular molecules bumping into that will have that phosphate group added to them. So the receptor itself, you're absolutely correct, the receptor itself is functioning as a protein kinase molecule, a phosphorylating molecule. Okay. Now, I don't know if this computer has a flash video on it. It doesn't look like it does. And our campus computers, I can't add it, so we'll move on. So, to summarize, before we move on to lipid-soluble molecules, water-soluble hormones bind to membrane-bound receptors. As such, so this is something you should try and do after class before you look at your lecture notes. Can you remember the different mechanisms by which they would undergo that activity? So first of all, we talked about G protein. Coupled pathways. And we talked about receptor enzyme, direct receptor enzyme activation. And direct receptor phosphorylation. Okay. Under G protein pathways, we have the second messenger cyclic AMP via activation of adenylyl cyclase. And that activated protein kinase C. And then we had second messenger calcium ions. The antimodulin. were the other two segment messengers?
IP3 and
Okay, IP3 and diacylglycerol. Anybody remember the enzyme?
phospholipase C.
Okay, phospholipase C. And that released calcium ions. And it activated protein kinase C.
Was the first one protein kinase A?
Ah, thank you. Okay? Now, before we go on and look at intracellular messengers, I want to give you some ideas about how to study this material.